Hello and welcome, my name is Lori and welcome to Lori DIYs. So for starters, welcome again to this new series that I would like to call Patternmagic. And in this series, I'd like to take you on a journey with me to create some beautiful patterns and some beautiful clothing all from scratch. So I can relate to people who think it is very difficult to really create your pattern from scratch, or you need a lot of experience doing so, and I'm here to tell you that's not really the case. But I want to start rather easy so that everyone can follow, so every step of the way will be another video where I explain it in detail. So with less further ado, let's get on into this video. So the first things that you will need is a pencil and a razor maybe, but the main ingredients are pattern paper and a measuring tape. If you do not have pattern paper, you also can use like a newspaper or stick a lot of papers together. So the very first step is to measure your waist as well as your hip line so you can fit the skirt perfectly for your own body type. And we're going to measure also the length of the skirt from your waist up to where you want your skirt to sit, as well as width between your hip line and your waistline, so that you have a nice proportion of everything. And I think that's just amazing that you can make with simple measurements like that a skirt just for yourself. I'm just gonna take my measuring tape, go around my waist like this. I stand up straight, so when you bend over, you obviously gonna have like a larger number, so you have to stand straight, and you have to make sure that everything is like parallel or horizontal, so you do not have like extra measurements or something. You also want it not to be as tight, but like this is too much, but you have to be able to breathe in it, so do not hold your breath, it's not okay to do so. So my waist is 86 centimeters. I do use a metric system, so you're just gonna measure the largest part, and you really want to get your ass in there so you can sit down easily. So what you're gonna do, stand straight, make sure everything is horizontal and such. This is actually the most important measurement that you're going to make, because you really want your hips to fit into your skirt. Nothing is worse than putting in so much effort to do something yourself and then eventually it doesn't fit right. So make sure that these measurements are true to size and do not cheat, okay? We're going to use those two measurements to create the long sides of a rectangle, and for the other two, so the shoulder sides on the side, we are going to measure from our waist, so the skinniest part of your body, to where you want your skirt. And I want my skirt like where this one is, because I like the length of it. So again, you want to stand up straight. If you find it difficult, like you have to bend over because you want a longer one, have someone help you. It's always easier to do it like that. But mine is going to be like 40 centimeters, and then for the last measurement, you actually need a chair. I mean, you also can just guess it where it is, but it's easier when you use a chair. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit down on the chair, take your measuring tape, sit up straight, and from the thinnest part of your body, you're going to go straight down until you meet the chair. So that is the last measurement from your waist until your hip line, and those are the only measurements we are going to use today. So these are the measurements we are going to use. So we have for the waist 68, not 86, and for the hips 98 centimeters. But since we're only going to draw half of our pattern, we're going to divide them by 2. So the waist will be 34 and the hips will be 49. We are, however, going to add 0.5 centimeters extra so we can sit down easily, and when we have eaten something, we can still fit into a skirt. So the actual numbers are 34.5 and 49.5 centimeters, the length 40 centimeters, and the width between our waist and hips is 28 centimeters. So starting our pattern, we are going to draw a simple rectangle with the height, the length of the skirt, and the width is half of the circumference of our hips.
So for me, the height is 40 centimeters and the width is 49.5 centimeters. So this is our hemline and this is our waistline. From our waistline, we are going to go down 28 centimeters and draw a horizontal line. This is our hip line. So our waistline will sit at our waist and our hip line will sit right at our hips. So now we are going to divide our pattern in two, and this is where our side seam is going to be. This is basically in the half of your body right at your hips. So this is the front and this is the back line, and they basically sit in the front and the back of your body. Now we are going to do some mat. I know nobody really likes mat, but it is important for our fit. So we know that our hip line is actually larger than our waistline, but now our waistline and our hip line are basically the same. So what we are going to do is we're going to subtract our waistline from our hip line. For me that is 49.5 minus 34.5, which leaves me with 15 centimeters. And what I basically always do is from my side seam I'm going to go inwards 2 by 2, which leaves me with 11 centimeters to work with. From those 11 centimeters, I'm going to divide them by 3, but not equally, because in the back you do not need as much fabric as in the front. So in the front, I'm going to have a dart with a width of 2.5 centimeters, and in the back, 2 darts with a width of 4.25 centimeters. Because I want my darts to be equally divided and really placed right in the center of my skirt, I'm going to divide them again by 2. So that leaves me with a dart in the front with a width of 1.25 centimeters and in the back 2 darts with a width of 2.12 centimeters. So here I'm actually going to draw my darts. So this is the side seam where I'm actually going to draw my darts with a width of 2 and 2. So in total that is 4 centimeters that I'm going to subtract right until we touch our hip line. And we are going to do so because in the side you usually have some curves and we want our skirt to follow those. So we're going to follow that curve of our body nicely so our skirt follows our body. Now we want to make our front and back darts. So in the front we are going to divide our pattern by 2. So our front dart really sits in the middle of it, and the back we're going to divide in 3. So we have 2 dart markings. The front dart is usually 10 centimeters, and then we have in the back a dart of 12 centimeter and a dart of 14 centimeters. From those markings we're going to go in the front 1.25 centimeters to the left, and in the back we're going to go 2.12 centimeters in both darts to the left. We're just going to attach them with a straight line, and thus we become half of a dart. The only thing we need to do is just copy it on the other side so we actually get a full dart. And that is actually the only thing that you need to do for a base pattern. And with that your pattern is actually done. So this is the front of your pattern and this is the back of your pattern, and done!
So this, my friends, is our first step of our pattern making journey. We now have our base pattern done, and this is the fun part. You can always reuse that base pattern when you want to create new skirts or create skirts with different measurements. You just have to enlarge it or make it smaller for your sister or your mom or your grandma or your friends for a nice Christmas present or for their birthdays, and I think that is just wonderful. So with this, my friends, I'm going to leave you, but I'll see you definitely in the next video where we are going to make our base pattern a little bit more fun, a little bit more spicy, where we do not have just this plain old skirt, but really something we can be proud of. So if you want to learn more about pattern making and DIYs and a little bit of fashion technology and stuff like that, please subscribe to my channel, watch my other videos, and give this one a thumbs up so I know that you guys like this video and I can create more content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram right here, and I really hope to see you next week. Bye!